Everybody, welcome to Stamping with Melva. I'm Melva Peters and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in British Columbia, Canada. And you can find me online at stampingwithmelva.com. Today I wanted to show you how I created a beautiful background for the card I shared on the Ink and Inspiration blog hop today. And this was a challenge to use, a whole bunch of colors: Pacific Point, Night of Navy, Bermuda Bay, Highland Heather, Gorgeous Grape. Really pretty colors. And so the immediate thing that came to mind was a background scene for a tropical card. So I have created a background using those colors and added in a palm tree for using the palm dies that are available as part of the January to June mini catalog from Stampin' Up. So let me hop over to my desktop and I will show you how I made this really pretty card. All right, so here's the card. Just like the background, it's got the colors, it's got Night of Navy, it's got Bermuda Bay, it's got Pacific Point, and then of course Highland Heather and Gorgeous Grape. And then this great palm tree that is made using this palm tree die from the Palms dies that are available. Now, I didn't buy the whole suite or the bundle. I just actually bought the dies because I love the palm trees. All right, and then I've combined it using a sentiment from the On the Horizon stamp set. I thought this was perfect just to relax, enjoy your day. And these embellishments that are a little hard to see down at the bottom are the embellishments for On the Waves, which is a new product suite pre-release that is coming out on March 1st for customers. These are great rhinestones, all in the blue tones. And you will be able to get your hands on this whole suite of products starting March 1st. All right, let me bring in my supplies. I've got a piece of Night of Navy cardstock that is cut 4 1/4 by 11, and I'm going to score it 5 1/2. Now you can make it a booklet fold and do 5 1/2 by 8 1/2 if you want. I just seem to be on a kick these days, making these tentfold cards that are 4 1/4 by 11. All right, so as I always say, fold into the mountain. This is the side I scored on, so it's got that little indent. This has got the raised side or the mountain, so I always fold into that mountain and give it a really good crease with my bone folder. Okay, so got that. Now, I've got a piece of Bermuda Bay, which is going to be my first layer. And then I have 2 pieces of basic white. One is both cut the same, and these are both cut to be 4 inches by 5 1/4. And one I'm going to use for the front and one I'm going to use for the inside of my card. So one of the first tricks that I will tell you when I'm going to use my Stampin' Blends for this. I love the Stampin' Blends. They are so amazing. You can wash them if you're not as lazy as I am. I tend not to wash them, but I have colors for each of the kind of tones, and I try and stick to that. So they do come out nice and clean if you actually do wash them. But if you haven't seen these Stampin' Blends yet, you are absolutely going to love them. Now, one of the first tricks, as I was saying, is I always cut my cardstock bigger than what I actually need it, because sometimes you get some, I get some splotchy edges. And so I'm going to give you a few tricks to try and avoid that. But I try and cut it bigger and then I will trim it down. The other thing that I do is, I grabbed the wrong one. I grabbed Gorgeous Fresh Freesia instead of Highland Heather. Let's just get the right colors here. All right. So I always start with my lightest color. And I always keep my lid open because I'm going to try and take away some of the ink. So pick up some ink using your Stampin' Blend or your blending brush, and then just kind of tap off. And then I use a piece. I've got a little Post-it note here just so I don't get my fingers on here. Sometimes if you get your fingerprints on, it puts the oil down. And I start off of my paper and I go in a bit of a circular motion. And you can just pick up ink as you need it. And then you can blend until you get it as light or dark as you want. All right. Okay, so I've got a layer of Highland Heather laid down. Close that one up now. Now I'm going to bring in my gorgeous grape. Oops. Close that. Pick up some here, pat down. And I'm going to start a little lower and again come in a circular motion. And you can kind of go over the top to try and blend it in a little bit. This feels very kind of stormy to me. And I'm just kind of going to go not completely over the whole thing like that. Okay, so I've got a little bit darker on one side, and that's okay. Just kind of gives it that stormy look. All right, now I'm going to bring in Bermuda Bay. Bring in a different brush. Pick up some ink. And again, start off and just start blending. By starting off your paper, I find I get splotches of dark color, and I don't like that when it happens. That's part of the reason I actually use a piece that's bigger, so I can cut it off as I need to. And you can go up and over the purple or whatever color you're using, and it creates a bit of a different color. Just kind of blend that line. You can see I actually tend to hold my brush. You can see I'm getting a little dark on the edge, but I'll trim off. I hold my brush at the head. I just find I get better control. Now, the last two colors I'm going to add are Pacific Point and I'm going to turn this a little bit. The other fun thing about this is no two cards will be alike, and that's kind of cool because you never know what your background's actually going to turn out like. And I can already see mine's looking just a little different than what my original card looked like, and that's perfectly fine. Just a little bit of the Pacific Point, and then the Night of Navy will be the last one I bring in, just at the bottom. I don't really want a lot of this color, but just a little bit, just to kind of change up the blue at the bottom. There we go. And going up and over, just blending a little bit to finish off. There. Isn't that pretty? Very kind of stark and stormy looking to me, maybe. All right, so I'm going to trim, and I want to trim off the edge. Now, I want this to end up being 3 3/4, so I'm just going to trim 1/8 of an inch off both sides. That takes away kind of some of those dark edges. And then I'm going to just trim I guess 1/8 of an inch off the bottom. And because I want this to be 5 inches, and then 1/8 of an inch off the top. There we go. So it takes away some of those dark edges that I was getting. So don't forget the trick. Cut your basic white or your shimmery white, whatever you're using. Just cut it just bigger. It can be 1/2 inch bigger. I just had mine 1/4 of an inch bigger. But just cut it bigger than, oops, I didn't really want to do that, but that's okay. Cut it bigger than what you wanted. well, my oops was I wasn't going to adhere this quite yet until I stamped the rest on it, but that's okay. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, so now I've already gone ahead and cut out a couple. Oopsie, it's shifted. So the one good thing about using your liquid glue is if your piece shifts, you can just kind of move it around. It gives us a little more forgiving than Stampin' Seal. All right, so I've gone ahead and cut out a couple of these palm trees. I'm going to put one on the front and one inside. And I'm just going to use my multi-purpose liquid glue, just a little bit of glue down the stem. A little bit of glue in here. Should have had my silicone mat out so I didn't get it on my grid paper, but it's, I think I'm okay. Oops. All right, and then I'm just going to put it like this. I'm going to trim off any excess. So actually, yeah, just a little bit of trimming on this edge before I adhere it down. There we go. You just take your paper snips, turn it over, and then just trim off the parts that hang off. There we go. Okay, now I want to do just a little bit more stamping on here. I'm going to use Night of Navy just because it's nice and dark. And I'm going to stamp this relax and enjoy your day. Just seems like the perfect sentiment if you are on the beach somewhere warm and tropical. Now, one other trick when you're using sentiments, especially since I've already adhered mine down, which when you're using sentiments, always test them. You can see, maybe you can't see that, but mine's just not quite straight. So that just gives you that little bit of practice so that you can kind of adjust it and get your sentiments straight. All right, now let's adhere this to the card base. Again, I'm using multi-purpose liquid glue, but you can use whatever your favorite glue is. There we go. Just hold that down until it just starts to set, and then you can. Okay, now I've got another piece of basic white. This is cut again 4 inches by 5 1/4, and I'm going to just adhere this other palm tree down. These are both cut out of Night of Navy. It would be so lovely. Oh my gosh, it's snowing. We woke up to a little bit of snow. I live on the west coast of Canada. We don't get a lot of snow here, but when we do, it snows. And it wasn't. I didn't think it was supposed to snow, but we woke up to just a little skiff of snow. And I'm just looking out and it's snowing again. I guess I'm dreaming of being somewhere warm and tropical. All right, again, just trim off that excess, and then this can adhere to the inside of my card. There we go. Okay, and then the last thing I want to bring in, these are the Rhinestone Waves Basic Jewels. Again, these are coming out as part of a pre-release with the On the Waves bundle. You may have seen me use it. The dies, the bundle with the stamp set and dies will carry over into the upcoming annual catalog that comes out in May. But the designer series paper, the foil, and these rhinestones, which are all stunning, will not carry over and will only be available while supplies last. So again, starting March 1st. So I'm just putting these rhinestones in 3 different colors. They come in, I think, 6 different colors, kind of all the tones from Night of Navy through to like a Coastal Cabana color. So I'm just putting kind of one of each of these bright colors. I think there are 168 in the package. So you have lots of them to use. You're going to want to get these. They're just so pretty. All right, so there's my card. using all the colors that were in the challenge that we were challenged to use for the Ink and Inspiration blog top. And I've just created this lovely background. And if I bring in my other card, you can see that definitely a bit different, a little more stormy and dark with the purple on this one, and a little lighter down through here. But both are pretty. And I think that's the fun part of using your Stampin' your blending brushes to create these backgrounds. It just, you never know what it's going to look like, and they're all really pretty. So I hope you give it a try. They are very fun to make. If you have any questions as you're watching this video, just leave a comment on the video, or if you're over on my blog, you can leave a comment there, and I'm happy to answer your questions. You will find all of the written instructions and measurements for this card on my blog, and the link to my blog will be underneath this video when everything goes live. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you get notified when I post videos or when I go live. I'd love to have you as a subscriber. All right, everybody. Thanks very much for joining me. Happy stamping. Bye.